Hey everybody, happy Easter, although it might not be Easter by the time you guys see this. Sunday, and we're going to be doing valve cover gaskets this morning on my car. And hang on. Hello?
Hi, is this Josh?
Yeah, this is.
Hey Josh, this is Coil. We can have your number, so I can grab from that. We have the phone number. It's 713. We want to invite you today to
Back on track. I'm doing a lot of things right now. So I got Invisalign, done. But the trays are actually in here, and I just ate. I got to brush my teeth, and there's now like a new little process. I also got to clean these trays out at the same time, and then I have to run downstairs. I got to move cars around, move the RAV4 out, find a parking spot for that, flip the M3 around, hopefully find a visitor spot for the RAV4 so that Sean, when he gets here, can just park in the driveway and make it easy. So that's what we're doing right now, and I'm going to kind of take you on, well, for those that are interested in Invisalign, I started over a week ago, so it was on a Thursday, not this last Thursday, Thursday before, so we're, like 9 days in on these things, and these trays, they give you a new tray every 2 weeks, so got a couple more days to go with this one, and then I can go on to tray number 2, but right now I gotta brush my teeth, and then actually have to clean these two, so I'm gonna show you that real quick if you're interested. If not, whatever, skip forward. You can skip forward a minute. So now, after I brush my teeth, I still got some toothpaste on here. I go ahead and clean the insides of these trays, and just because you're wearing these for like 22 hours a day, you do take them out when you eat. But you get whatever in there, and it's good to clean it out because you're going to be sticking it back in your mouth. And they also say to do the outsides of them all over my right foot down shirt. They also say to do the outsides of them. I guess these things could turn yellow in time. So these are clean now. Alright, now I can put these in. Alright, just got to line them up and push up. There's one. And on the bottom, you can see it's much smaller than the top. I have less teeth down there. That's because when I was little, when they took out my wisdom teeth, they actually pulled out my molars too. I don't know if that was by mistake or what, I don't really remember, but they yanked 4 of them from the bottom, so now I've got 1 less on each side that I showed at the bottom, and 2 actually on the top that overhang that shouldn't. Anyway, okay, time to get to work. Alright, so I'm going to start by loosening these 2 bolts. Or sorry, bolts, they're, these things. This is where Sean comes out and tells me I'm doing it wrong.
Not yet.
Alright, so we gotta get these guys off. Alright, so after we get that off, we gotta get these ends off on the side here. And
Has that got a quarter? Oh, what do you do?
woo! Power tools, yay! And then I have the bits for, okay, see? That was easy. Look at that, lifts right up with those 2 bolts out. Let me put those 2 bolts back in there so that we don't forget where they go.
You know where they go.
Yeah.
Alright. Removing the fuel line from the clip. Taking the plastic cover off the valve cover. There's one.
Now, same thing on the other side, but this one's a little bit more fun to get out. I think last time I disconnected the
you can actually, well, you don't have to disconnect the coolant hose necessarily. You just have to take these pins out and just kind of shift it a little bit to give you that clearance.
Power tools makes it easy, friends. I think removing this cap might also make it a little easier to get out.
There you go.
Let me do this. Oil cap off, and makes it a little easier to squeeze out of there.
Out the front.
Yeah, out the front, exactly. So removing the intake plane here,
this.
You have, well, a couple connections here. Underneath is, because they're individual throttle bodies, there's 8 individual clamps. But
With the right tools.
yeah, it's required to get this off. So that's the next step.
Here's my ratchet. By the way, it always helps to have a magnetic tool tray or nut and bolt tray.
I think I do have one somewhere. Oh, it's stuck on the side of my toolbox. It's very useful over there.
Yes.
Now, if any part of this car was made of metal,
Well, it's not necessarily for it to stick to something, it's for things to stick to it.
like other tools.
Or nuts and bolts.
Yeah. All right. Looking back on this side of the manifold, we've got this guy that's held on by 2 of the Torx bits, which I do have Torx bits. I just need to bring them over, and then you got to get your screwdriver back there. And there's 2 of them. I already loosened the first 2 plenum rings, but those other 2 are going to be fun.
I recommend not actually using a screwdriver. I recommend using
A ratchet.
a 1/4" ratchet with a long extension and a 6 universal or swivel.
Okay, so now we got all the bolts off, and we're going to just kind of lift the plenum
All
up.
the clamps are loose.
There we go. Pops up and slides right out. There we go. Look at that. And now here's a better view of the individual throttle bodies. But what we want to do is loosen all of these bolts around the valve cover on each side. It's going to take
Getting one step ahead, we got to undo the coils, and we have to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
some of the harness out of the way.
Right. So yeah, we got to move some of the harness out of the way. We got to remove this guy here, which has some Torx bits, T30 bits. Probably gonna have to remove the injector clips to make some more room, and just free up space. So that's the next step. Yeah.
All right, so you have a tool for removing the coils.
Yeah, it's called.
A screwdriver.
No, I actually have a made-up tool which really blows, but it works. Now you're gonna laugh at this.
Why? I've made some tools.
This. We have a wire hanger that we put around the head of the coil and pull. It is a bitch. So, you want me to demonstrate?
Yeah, demonstrate.
Okay, so get the right camera angle here. So here's my tool.
Are you sure you're not using that to like break into cars?
So I put it around the back side like that, so it's under, and then
Hold on a second. Just putting an uneven amount of pressure on the thing. So while you're doing that, pull. There you go. You gotta kind of.
yeah, well, and invert my glove at the same time, but yeah. Okay, so part of the crankcase ventilation system is held on by 4 T30 bolts, and careful not to drop those because that would be a pain. Oh, and these must be they're not magnetic.
Nope.
Are they
They probably are magnesium.
maybe magnesium bolts? Okay, and then is there something else holding that thing on? Oh, it's probably got.
There you go. Just be careful.
Yeah.
It's probably brittle.
Yeah. There we go. So there's one of them. And I'll show you guys what we got going on so far. With that removed, it was taking up these 2 holes here, and you can see those 4 threads. So now we got to continue taking out these coil packs. Did you get them all?
I got all but the back one, and I gotta take this out first. And I didn't use a coat hanger.
No? Just hand?
Handed screwdriver. You
Okay.
apply, you put a finger underneath the back of the connector on the coil, and then you kind of wiggle it the front with the screwdriver underneath the tab they have, and it will come out.
You can tell one of us is a mechanic. Coil packs. That's my regular car guy impression. Well, I'll tell you this. The first time I did these, they were probably never done before. So that's my excuse.
Alright, so this is the closest thing you have to what will work to open the connectors. Basically, you spread them, and then there you go.
So, there you go, folks. All you need is needle nose pliers.
Well, not ideally these particular ones, but something. I mean, this works.
We turned on the fan, so it might be a little bit more noisy.
That's why you.
Damn it.
Yep. That's why you want new ones. Well, one of the reasons why you want new ones.
See anything?
There it goes. It's going now. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
So hold this out of the way. Pull up on that.
Oh, you want to pull out that way?
Yep.
Okay. Wait, we got it stuck up on the gasket.
There we go.
And yeah, there's this is what 128,000 miles on an M3 looks like, guys. What's your assessment?
Well, it looks like it was pretty well maintained. The cam lobes look pretty nice. The gear looks pretty nice. Everything looks pretty well maintained. It's pretty clean.
I've just increased my resale value.
Not yet. It doesn't run yet.
Alright guys, so the valve cover is off and we're going to clean up the surfaces around the valve cover here where I'm pointing to with WD-40. So what we do is just spray some WD-40 on a rag and wipe the surface down, which I've already done. Here, Sean, you want to hold this? Just kind of warm up a little bit here. So this one's already dirty, but no, use this side. And just spray some on the rag there. And then on the surfaces, come on over here so you can see it. Just, you don't want to hold it like that. So just go along the surfaces around here to loosen up any of the other oil. And then after you go all the way around it, and take another clean rag and go through again to soak up any of the residue that was left on there. So go all the way around it and then wipe it back up.
I'm assuming 271 is the driver's side.
I'm not sure. So we're going to put some RTB right there and on this right there, so make sure those surfaces are clean. You might have some oil running over from the bottom here. Don't worry about that too much. Just make sure that you get as much of the old stuff off as possible. And when you take out the old valve cover, this is what we've got here. You want to
Run a rag
through there to get out any debris, and this is what the underside of mine looks like. And we are going to be installing new plug tubes, which is what we've got here.
Make sure you take the sticker off.
Yeah, stickers off. Then put them in. Alright, now we're just installing the new plug tubes. Get a little screwdriver, pry up gently. Try not to damage the valve cover. A little bend one way or another. And it should release. And repeat. So when you put these in, you're not really going to hear them pop. They just kind of slide into position and stop and won't go any further. So while Sean's looking to see which valve cover gasket is which, you might be wondering why we're doing these spark plug tubes. And the reason is quite simple. When you're in here and you take the valve cover gasket or valve cover off, you risk the chance of disrupting these seals. And what you don't want to have to do is get all the valve covers back on, start the car, and realize that you've got oil leaking into your spark plugs. So they are kind of expensive. And they add up another $80 or something like that for the spark plug tubes, but really they're worth it because you don't want to have to do this job again. Alright, so we're opening up the driver's side valve cover gasket. You can see part number here ending in 271. Alright, so kind of seating the valve cover gasket in place. It's not a super tight fit. It's
You can actually put a little bit of RTV on the inside here to secure it as well, which we might end up just doing in a couple corners.
yeah.
Just little dabs though, not a lot.
Just enough to make it stick. On the back corners too.
Yep. Should be enough.
Again, this is to help keep the gasket in place so it doesn't fall out while we're positioning the valve cover. And we're also going to use RTV sealant on these, in between these pieces here and down there. And in preparation of setting the valve cover down, just taking a little bit of oil, if you don't have silicone, and just rubbing it around the edges of the new plug tubes.
Use the silicone sparingly, by the way.
Yeah.
Just enough to get it a little bit.
Just lubricate enough so it doesn't hang up while it's being dropped into position. Okay, not dropped, but lowered into position. Hold on, you want a hand on this? What do you want me to do?
You might actually have to hold the wiring and the harness.
Okay.
That stuff up.
Let me position. Let me sit here. Holding this up.
So you can get the fuel line too.
And the fuel line up.
It's a spark plug tube.
Is that it? So it might be.
Well, before we get, okay, it's on there now, but before we get too carried away, we want to put the RTV in here.
Alright, so what we're doing now is getting the RTV. Again, we're going to put some here and down there.
Not a lot.
Just a dab. Just like that. And I just turned the fan off. There we go.
You're good.
Oh. Power. Alright. Alright, do you need my help or are you good?
I think I'm good.
Okay. And right now the pressure is seating the plug tubes probably more than anything else.
Yeah. And it feels like we're there. Just not sure sure that we're good clearance-wise back here. Yeah, I feel like we're good. Alright, so now we just put the new bolts in, tighten it down.
You heard them. New bolts going in.
Don't drop, don't drop. Don't drop. Is your camera recording?
Yep.
So I'm going to run these bolts in by hand just to kind of get the thing seated, and then we will torque it. And I'll cover that here in a minute. You want to start from the inside and work your way out. And go diagonal pattern.
How clean do we want to get the inside of these?
The channel?
Yeah.
You want to get it clean
Yeah,
enough to where the gasket's going to stick. Yeah, that one's everything in the back.
Just this. Does it take us too long?
That'll be fine in some situations. Alright, so where's your 10? Do you have a 10? A 3/8 10? The general consensus is 10 Newton meters. So we're going to start from the inside out. All right.
We heard the click.
Note that some of these bolts are not that easily accessible with a torque ratchet like this. So some you might just have to be very careful with and use your best judgment, like the ones in the very, very back. There we go, it's tight. So now we get back to the front. Okay, so I'm gonna.
What about the new one? Did we do that?
I'm going to do the two in the back real quick. Alright, so these I'm just going to do by feel, because unfortunately there's just not a very good way to get to them. Yeah, get on there. Okay. Voila.
There you go. So you notice this valve cover is still really dirty. We didn't go about cleaning it. We cleaned the other one, so I'm going to go ahead and clean this one now while we prep the other side. And now on this side, I think all we have left to do is put this guy back into place. It goes in there with T30s.
The coils first.
Yeah, but before we do that, we got to put the coils back in, which are laying on the ground over there. And I might finish cleaning up this valve cover a little bit more before we get there.
Keeping Josh out of my way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay out of Sean's way for this.